Good. Hey, hello everybody, and welcome again to another episode that we're going to be talking about real estate and mortgages with my good friend Andy Gagliano from Gagliano Mortgages. How you doing, Andy?
Hey, Tony, I am well. I'm still suffering the effects of overeating from the 4th of July, and I have a refrigerator full of leftovers. And I can't say I'm really all that angry about that, but I'll probably continue to overeat for another few days. How are you? Did you enjoy your holiday?
I'm doing great. I had a great 4th of July. I'm actually took 3 days to relax, not to answer my phone,
Nice.
except for yesterday and Sunday. Uh, I had to go to one of my investors' property. The tenant was moving out, so I went to do the move out inspection and the whole 9 yard. We
Yeah.
put in the property for sale, so I that was the only thing that actually I did, which really not big deal to me sometimes. But other than that, I relax, I recharge, and I'm ready to take over the world.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Andy,
Yes, sir.
there's something that you and I we still haven't talked about it, and I think it can be a good subject today.
Okay.
And it's about condominiums, buying condos, renting condos. Is that a good strategy for investment or not? Is that a good idea for first-time home buyers to probably the first step to get into real estate? There's a lot of questions when it comes to condos.
Yeah.
On the real estate side, one of the things that we need to do as an agent when we're representing the buyer is making sure that when we make an offer on the condominium is do they have a homeowners association? 99% of the time they do. I still haven't seen a condominium that doesn't have an HOA.
Right.
So with that said, make sure that your agent, when he's representing you and is presenting an offer, in the offer, that person is requesting any assessment against the property, not just the condo by itself, but the whole entire property. Uh, there's CC&Rs, which is the covenants and restrictions. What are the restrictions that is going to be on that condominium? What is it that you are paying, and what is it that is covered, like insurance? When you put an insurance on your condominium, what covers and what not, and what is the insurance association covers and what not. So that's why you need to ask for at least the last 12 months financial statements.
Yeah.
Because let's say the water is included on your condo dues. What if the water bill is not being paid? So that probably you're going to have a lien on the property, and that lien is attached to each condo, and you don't even going to know about it.
That's right.
Because you didn't request that when you bought that property. So you need to ask for the last 12 months financial statement. If they refuse to provide you that information, my advice is run. Simple as
That's
that.
great advice.
Yeah. And also you need to ask for the minutes note. Homeowners associations, they meet at least once a month, and they have to have the minutes on that. So you can review what has been discussed, what's coming, what's not. And again, what assessments are against the property. And the reason I say this is because one of my experiences was like 6-7 years ago. It was a huge condominium project in Centerpoint, exactly right in the border, Centerpoint, Birmingham, on the Parkway.
Mhm.
And they were started selling in all those units. Funny enough, the president of the HOA was a real estate investor, and for whatever reason, he was buying a lot of those units and renting them out. They had 3 liens against the complex. Roof, because they replaced the roof and nobody paid the bill for the roof.
Oh,
The water bill, and an attorney lien. Apparently, was a lawsuit. Something happened a few years ago, and nobody pays the attorney. So there is a lien against the property. So, can you sell that condominium? Yes. Can you buy that condo? Yes. But you're going to have those liens attached to your deed. And that is something you don't want. So that's what I say. If they don't provide you with financial statement, they don't provide you with their minutes, they don't provide you with assessment, wrong. Because something is wrong with that condominium complex. Who pays for the maintenance, common areas maintenance, how much it is. The insurance, usually insurance cover the outside of the structure of the building and also the roof. So what your insurance is going to cover. So those are the questions that you need to be asking. Oh, actually, your agent need to be asking. You need to be telling your agent to ask for all that information before you decide to buy a condo.
Yeah.
And that's on the real estate side. On the financial side, how it is handled, that situation.
Yeah. One thing that I'll throw out there first, and then I want to dive a little deeper on this, is that the homeowners association dues that are being charged by the homeowners association to each individual owner of each condo, those are added into the mortgage payment because they are required to be made by the purchaser. And so if it's a requirement that's made, we're going to count that as if it's part of your mortgage payment. And that can sometimes, we see this from time to time, a couple of times a year, where we'll be working with someone who comes to us and says, hey, I want to get pre-approved. I don't have a property picked out yet, but I need to get pre-approved so I can know how much I can afford and go out and start looking at homes. So we'll pre-approve them, say, for $250,000 without homeowners association dues. Or if they're upfront and they say, hey, we're looking at condos and estimate the homeowners association dues to be $250 a month. So we do that and we get them pre-approved for, say, $250,000. They go and they find a condo that they love, but the HOA dues are $350 or $400 on that $250,000 condo. Well, now all of a sudden they don't qualify. So from the mortgage perspective, from the financial perspective, HOA dues can be quite frustrating. Here's the other thing with HOA dues right now that I think is very important for buyers to know, and that is that due to the condo collapse that happened, I believe that was in Tampa, or was it Miami? Anyway,
Miami.
it was in,
I think it's
Miami. Yeah, you're right. It was Miami, South Florida. That's been 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago. A lot of states are really looking very hard at their condos that are in that state and requiring HOAs to make very much needed deferred maintenance to those properties. Balconies, something that comes to mind, because if you've been to the coast, the Gulf Coast lately, there are a lot of projects going on some of those condominium structures down there, the buildings down there, and a lot of the things that they're working on are balconies and doing structural inspections. Here's another thing that is being looked at very closely by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, because they're getting much more strict on condominiums now as far as being able to do financing on those condominiums. And that is there the required reserve that is in place for the homeowners association? In other words, if the annual budget for the homeowners association is $100,000, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac may say, hey, we need to show that the HOA has $10% of the annual budget in reserves, in an account, sitting in the bank, in cash, ready to be used should an emergency arise. And so if an HOA is not well managed, and there are a lot of them out there that are not well managed,
Yeah.
then a lot of times that's the first thing they don't do. They don't build that reserve account. Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, a lot of times if those properties don't have that proper reserve account, they're not going to finance a sale in that condominium complex.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to look at when it comes to financing a condominium. Now, I'm saying all this stuff like, well, there's no way to get a condo financed, and that could not be further from the truth. We do loans on condos all the time. There are plenty of condominium projects out there that are well managed by their HOA, that do things the right way, that have reasonable HOA dues, and additionally, because they have been well managed for a long period of time, they don't have these assessments that Tony was talking about. Now, I want to flip the table and let's talk about one that just was presented to me about a month ago by a real estate agent who knows that I like to invest in real estate. She came to me, she said, hey, here's a condominium that's for sale, or it's going to be for sale, actually, is what she said. And let me tell you about the condominium project. There's a lot of deferred maintenance. In fact, the city engineer or city inspector, whoever it might have been, told the HOA that if they don't take care of this deferred maintenance, in about 2 years, they're going to come in and condemn all of these units.
Ooh.
So a lot of deferred maintenance. What does that mean? That means the HOA, because they've been mismanaged for so many years, has a lot of catching up to do in a short period of time. So they voted and decided to charge a special assessment to each condo owner. Well, instead of just charging a one-time assessment, because it would have been in the tens of thousands of dollars for condominiums that are worth about $200,000 on the high end,
Mhm.
that's a heck of a pill to swallow for a lot of people that own a $200,000 condo. So what they did was they said, okay, instead of charging these assessments up front in a one-time assessment, we're going to add them onto the HOA dues. The HOA dues in this project, Tony, went from $250 a month to $400 a month for this year. Next year, and for the next 4 years,
Ouch.
they're going to be $1,100 a month. They drop back down to $400 a month for about a year or two, and then they go back to the $250 a month. That is substantial. So
that is a big increase, my friend.
it is. It's huge. It's
And
huge.
see, on that clear example that you're saying, if a buyer doesn't have a good agent requesting all these minutes, all those financial statements, they're buying something, they're thinking that they're going $250 a month, and then all of a sudden they're already in with a mortgage and their HOA went up to $450.
Yeah. It's something to really keep an eye on. And again, any buyers who are watching this, or potential buyers, or any potential investors who are watching this, don't be afraid of condominiums. Just do what Tony said. Make sure you're working with an agent that has sold condominiums in the past and is well aware of how they work and is well aware of what a well-managed HOA is and what a poorly managed HOA is. Because If your agent's not doing that on the front end, I will promise you, your mortgage company is doing it on the back end.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be told after you've spent money on an appraisal, after you've spent money on a home inspection, you don't want to be told, hey, this condominium project is not able to be financed.
Yeah. And that is something that really, you don't want to be in that situation. You're going to be probably losing your earnest money, whatever amount you put on earnest money. And back to what you just said, don't be afraid of condominiums. I'm a big fan of condominiums. I'm a big, huge fan because I hate yard work.
I get it. Yeah.
So I'm not going to be doing yard work in my condominium. It's just go and, I only have to take care of inside, whatever is inside my place. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's very simple. And they're good investments also. I mean, if you
They
can
are.
add that monthly HOA fee to the rent, and that covers, if you're financing that purchase, and then that covers your mortgage and covers your HOA, if you can cover all that with your rent, you got a potential good investment over there. If you're looking into 5 to 7 year plan.
Yeah.
You're reducing a lot of the principal. If you can make all those payments, you cover all that you need to keep in mind. When you run your numbers, remember, you have to have your mortgage, depending on the type of financing that you get in, your insurance, because you have to have insurance, even if the condominium complex has their own insurance. But something happened inside your apartment, the condominium is not going to cover.
That's right.
So you need to be protected on that. And make sure the HOA is not gonna all of a sudden go up the next month after you bought it.
Yes, indeed.
You don't want that surprise.
Yeah, you're right about that. There are quite a few condominiums, and I'm just going to speak about the Birmingham area, that have a lot of amenities to offer their owners, like pool, theater room, game room, just a lot of activities that go on within the homeowners in that complex, and they can be a great place for single people. They could be a great place for empty nesters, or well, I guess that would carry it on out to retirees as well. And so, like you said, not having that exterior maintenance of a home, having that being covered by the HOA, not having the yard work, that's a big bonus, a big plus for a lot of buyers out there. And so
it is. I mean, depending on the size of your house, but you cannot get a landscaper. You cannot get somebody to mow your lawn for less than $100.
It's true. Yeah.
Simple as that. I mean, I will say not less than 150, quite honest.
Yeah.
And you have to, take care of all that and everything. So that's an extra payment that you have to consider when you buy a home as well. And probably something that is not in your budget. So a condominium can be a great investment.
Yeah. Yeah. One last thing I'll throw in there about condominiums is that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are a little tighter on underwriting for condominiums. I've already mentioned that, but additionally, if you're looking to buy a condo, don't expect to get the very best interest rate that's available in the market. You're going to pay just ever so slightly higher interest rate for a condominium than you would pay for a single family residence. But again, don't let that scare you off. And because we're talking an 1/8% or maybe 1/4% higher interest rate. And in the grand scheme of things, that does not end up being a lot of dollars each month.
No.
So, but just kind of keep that in mind, because that does throw some people off when we're quoting rates for condominiums. So just keep that in mind. Do your homework up front, work with a great agent, and let your agent do the heavy lifting for you, the upfront heavy lifting on that condo complex. And so many, there are condominium complexes out there that have a very good reputation in the real estate community, and a lot of realtors know those up front and can say, don't touch that condo, or hey, here's 2 or 3 really good complexes to go look at.
That is correct. That is correct. There is, a blacklist of places that we don't recommend, most likely. And like Andy said, get a real estate agent that knows what he's doing, that is going to be negotiating for you, that is going to be taking the extra step. Although Alabama is buyers beware, and I hear a lot of agents telling their clients that it's the buyer's responsibility to find out about certain things, and that is correct. But that does not mean that me as an agent, I can pick up the phone and call the homeowners association, and I can get all that information for you.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. We're already in contact with these people because we do business with them all the time. Some HOAs are more amicable than others.
Very
but
true.
We always get things done, and it's about negotiating. I mean, you work all day and you expect your agent to take care of all that. So make sure that you're working with an agent that is not telling you that it's your responsibility, although it is, but that is also telling you, let me take care of this for you so you can sleep well at night, and we'll figure it out what we can do.
Yeah.
So Andy, anything else you want to add to this today?
I don't think so. There's a lot of information that we've covered, and maybe there is one more thing that I want to add. The condo dynamic is different from state to state, from city to city. So be very, very cautious about the information that you pick up online.
Correct.
When it comes to condominiums. Again, rely heavily on your real estate agent. Call Tony. He's sold condos before. He knows the program. He knows the deal with them all, and he can definitely walk you through the process and steer you in the right direction on a condominium. And of course, I'll be glad to help with financing if you need that. But just, I know we all do it as consumers. We love to do our own research, so we're not completely ignorant going into a transaction, whether it's buying a washer and dryer,
correct,
or buying a piece of real estate. But with the condos especially, be very careful, because if you're looking at what requirements are for the Gulf Coast in Florida, they're going to be vastly different than what they are in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, definitely. And especially what happened 4 years ago in Miami and Miami Beach and all that. And I promise you, you can buy a condo for $125,000 right now in Miami in the high rates, but you don't know all the money that you're going to have to put into it, all the headaches that you're going to be getting because of the assessment, because of all the liens that have been put on those condos.
Yeah.
But that's Miami.
That's
Here
right.
in Birmingham, Alabama. And we got Hoover, we got Vestavia, we got Centerpoint. All those cities got their own different assessment as well. And, the example that I gave you earlier, that was right in Centerpoint. And right now, that place really doesn't exist. It's burned down. And it was bad, unfortunately, because they were very good and very beautiful complex. And it's just, the HOA was managed very bad. So anyway, people, if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about condos, about buying a house and getting finances, give Andy a call. Andy, how can people reach you?
I can be reached at 205-979-4412. I'm at extension 1. How about you, Tony?
Perfect. So after you talk to Andy, and Andy let me know that it's good to go, we got the green line to go and find a house, you can give me a call at 205-370-3248, and we can start this real estate adventure together. So, Andy, one more time, thank you for being with us today, and I hope to see you next week, my friend.
Sounds great, Tony. Thank you. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.